Stuff I'm telling them finna happen and stuff I'm telling them to do, they don't do it, and then the prosecution go right up there and do the stuff I tell them what they finna do. These people slow as fuck. They slow and they slow, and they not listening. They don't know shit.
Do you have
All they
any?
doing is they're lying.
All right, stop cursing. And what are your specific objections?
This is one of the things I told them to do.
All right.
Before the opening, I told them, I said, bring this, do this, because they're finna do this, because he set up there, Ryan Williams set up there and lied and told the jury, oh, Markeith Loyd, he looked at evidence and he came and made up a story because Antoine Thomas said, are you serious? He seen that, he looked at the evidence, he made up a story. But now, this says, before I present the case, Markeith want me to point something out to the jury while it's fresh. The state just told you Markeith studied evidence to make up a story about Antoine or anything else. Remember, Antoine testified and he said to Markeith, "Are you serious?" Well, Markeith didn't have because Markeith didn't have the gun pointed at him, as he say. Because if someone has guns pointed in your face and you're scared, of course you're going to know they're serious. The prosecution just put forward to you that Markeith got the statement from evidence and used it in his testimony to you. The prosecution will continue to mislead and interpret things the way they want it to be. Jurors, think for yourself. Jury, do you remember when Antoine testified and he said to Markeith, "Are you serious?" And I gave, which he would have been speaking, and I gave Antoine his statement, and I told him, show me in your statement where you made that statement, "Are you serious?" And he couldn't find that in his statement, and he said, I quote, "I said it, I guess the police didn't put it in them." So how could Markeith have studied evidence and got that statement out of the evidence that was never in evidence? Pay close attention. They will continue to not tell the truth and change stories all the way down to the last shot of Clayton. You will see, and I guess they'll change that. They'll change that when they come up, because you could never stand over no one and make the bullet path that the trajectory goes from her neck. If I was still a scorer over here and made that shot, it was impossible to make that bullet path. And I knew they was going to come up and tell these lies, but all they've been doing is lying. He's not listening. They don't listen. They think they're intelligent, and they think they know everything when they don't.
So is this something that you wanted your attorneys to say?
Yes, I told him before he started his closing to say this, because I knew they was going to come up there and say this, because they lied to the jury and said, "Oh, he got this out of evidence. Are you serious?" From evidence being made up a story. It's not in evidence, Judge.
All right. So is there anything else that you asked your attorneys to say?
It's a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of stuff.
Do you want to list it now?
No, because I'm upset right now, and I'm about to can't even talk no more.
All right.
Because they don't fucking they think they know everything.
Mr. Loyd, watch your language. Take a deep breath and calm down.
They slow as fuck. They think they're so smart, but they're not. You're not more intelligent than me.
Is there any, other than the
them or them?
Mr. Loyd, focus. Mr. Loyd, you need to look at me and focus. Take a deep breath and calm down. Is there, other than the witnesses you've listed in various motions that you wanted to call, are there any other witnesses that you asked your attorneys to call during the trial that they did not call?
Yes, plenty.
Who are those witnesses?
Matt Quitter, Chuck Ashworth that they got up there, them, a bunch of law enforcement officers, I told them to subpoena my niece and other witnesses.
Do you know their names?
I gave them all the law enforcement officers. And the reason
I listed it, Judge.
And the reason why I told,
hold on, you listed it in what, Mr. Lenneman?
In the discovery, I listed all the officers that he wanted us to call.
Is that filed in the court file?
It is.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Loyd.
And the reason why I wanted those officers listed, because as Savelli them was setting me up from the first case, and they reported the lies to the news that I came over here, banged on these people's door, and gunned these people down, which the court and them and everybody know that was a complete lie. And that was a trigger for whatever the mental thing they got going on. So now they wanted to leave that out, and that's the main piece of evidence. That was a trigger. You call it a trigger or a stressor. So now, doing the thing, I talked to my niece with the investigator, told them I would turn myself in if they show me they give me some kind of good faith. They not trying to kill me, because in my mind right now they are trying to kill me. So now, during the FDLE investigation, I'm going through the thing. It's a lot of officers. I couldn't believe it. There's a lot of officers that told the truth, that they beat me. They beat me while I had cuffs on. I never resisted, and all this. So I'm like, damn, this was wrong with the system. Now, it was some good officers that tried to be, but you ain't gonna never hear about them because what FDLE do, they responsible for taking up for the bad officer. So now they go discard the good officers, so you never hear about them. So now it's like all officers bad. Cause you mean to tell me that ain't nobody seen nothing? Ain't nobody saying nothing? They say see something, say something, but ain't no officers never seeing nothing. And it was. I'm like, whoa, shit surprised me. So in these same officers during the FDL investigation, this the question of Stacey Salmon was answering them to try to cover for the officers. During your apprehension of Mr. Loyd, is there any evidence to make you think that he would be dangerous so they can fuck me up? Trying to get
Mr. Loyd, stop cursing.
That's why I'm.
Right. I'm happy to listen to you, but you need to follow the rules of the court.
So now, is there any kind of like he was wanted for murder? You know, he had a vest, he had guns, and this and that. So she was naming all these things for them to say, oh yes. So yeah, we got that. Then we heard you know, like you said, those things, and he was going out suicide by
So
car.
you wanted all these witnesses called?
No, I'm telling you this is why I wanted them called.
Oh, okay, go ahead, sure.
So he was going out suicide by car, and this and that. So they were getting all this intel of our suicide by cop and all the which none of this stuff is true. But intel is important. You can get any officer on this stand and ask them, is intel important? They're going to tell you, yeah, intel important. So now you got an alleged murderer wanted. So now, but no officers that's looking for me, which I feel like everyone should have known, every officer in Orange County, every officer in OPD, and every officer that was looking for me. These investigators know I had this belief that they were trying to kill me. And you mean to tell me you didn't tell any of your comrades this? So now, if they would have had this information, all stuff could have been avoided. If they would have even just told the truth, it could have been, if they would have even told the truth, I could have been in the county jail. But they would set me up and trying to kill me and tell me, oh, we're not responding for the newspaper. But the whole time, you get the news advisors for Orange County Sheriff's Department, that's what they reported. I came to this house, banged on their door, and gunned these people down. They have the statement, so they know it's a lie. So now they don't want to tell anyone about this because they will be exposed for reporting these lies, and they don't tell no officers that I'm out here with this belief that the police trying to kill me. So they put Debra in danger, and any other officer, and me, and anyone else. So now you're jumping out of bushes. What you think is going to happen? I ain't never wanted to do that. I was trying to turn myself in.
So
and
this is what
none of these people know that I was out here with this belief, but these investigators knew this and told.
So this is
one.
what you wanted these witnesses called for?
Yes.
Any other witnesses you wanted to call for a different reason?
They said they couldn't find the other witnesses. I wanted my niece to subpoena because she's scared because they're arrested already for nothing.
Okay.
But I wanted her subpoena.
Anyone else?
I don't know. My mind got them. Excuse me. It's digressed right now. It fades. I can't.
All right. Mr. Lennon, is there anything you care to put on the record in response?
I'm sorry?
Is there anything you care to put on the record in response to Mr. Loyd's statements? All right.
Judge, I would just specifically in regard to Mr. Loyd's niece that I was in contact with her. She asked me to contact her lawyer, and I spoke to her lawyer. Her name is Gary Rentz, and Ms. Rentz emailed me that Ms. Loyd did not want to testify.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, folks. We're in recess. Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.